A place to sit down with a good book, a comfy reading chair in an underwater library. The artist calls it a diver's paradise. The photo and its subject are by Frank Kunert.
The basic idea is that you immerse yourself in another world, far away from your everyday problems. It's like an oasis of peace.
This model served as the setting for a photo titled Climbing Vacation, an allusion to the carefully composed holiday snaps in travel magazines.
They create illusions in the studio and they're supposed to look authentic. I always think that's fascinating. It's a way of playing with reality.
Kunert chronicles his miniature worlds in pictures. Some are caricatures and some are quirky. He calls this image Into the Blue Yonder. Downwards is aimed at escapists who refuse to see the abyss yawning beside them.
I want to show the whole spectrum of life, from tragedy to comedy.
Before he reaches for the camera, he constructs the settings in his studio. The bed, the sink and the pots, every detail gets the same attention. He finds many of the miniatures online. He also uses modeling clay, customized tools, foam boards and paint. In this scale, syringes are an essential tool. A bottle of red wine stands ready to welcome this apartment's new residents.
The apartment listing probably reads like this: a fully furnished one-room apartment, and upon arrival the prospective renter gets a surprise.
Frank Kunert draws inspiration from the real world. He lives in the western German town of Boppard on the Rhine River. When he's on the road, he looks not so much for beauty as for traces of time passing. He was born in Frankfurt in 1963 and, after leaving school, trained to be a photographer. Starting out professionally in commercial photography, he began constructing his little worlds, as he calls them, in the mid-1990s.
My ideas come from everyday life, and I mix them up with impressions I get, such as the way an old house conveys the passage of time and the lives that played out there. And I try to funnel all that into my imagery.
The transitory nature of modern everyday life, the people's worries and dreams, these are the themes that recur in his work. This bridge provided the inspiration for his photograph Under the Bridge. Once he's had an idea, he starts to sketch for a model.
This is my favorite Autobahn bridge. I often come this way, and at one point the idea came to me. There's a housing shortage across Germany, especially in the cities. So what if a little house were built in the bridge pillars? A sort of tiny house that's totally fashionable right now. It would solve a lot of problems.
Back in his studio, he gets to work on his solution to the housing crisis. Frank Kunert invests from 2 weeks to 3 months on his meticulously crafted 3D models.
Sometimes I wonder why I do this to myself. It would all be much easier if I used Photoshop, but by doing it this way, I feel like I'm breathing life into things.
Once he's finished his 3D model, he photographs the result with an analog large-format camera that's around 30 years old. His photographs depict scenes just like the real thing, only not quite. Kunert doesn't alter the images digitally before he publishes them. His most recent book is called Lifestyle. It's his third collection of photographs.
It's like a stage that the viewer fills with his or her own imagination. To me, that's more exciting than filling it with people.
People might be absent from his images, but somehow the miniature models are imbued with a human presence. Frank Kunert's small worlds tell stories that linger in the mind.